What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another War of Dots video. Today I got something a little special for you. We're going to do a full sort of tutorial on all the things related to War of Dots. So that's going to be economy management, troop management, anything related to sort of general strategy, overall way you should play the game. And then I'll do that with some gameplay in the bottom, and I'll sort of take notes on the gameplay, or I'll just sort of leave it playing while I do my tutorial. So, kick things off with this 1 versus 1 that I just played against a player named Target. I'm here as the red player here. So, first things first, I want to get into like what you should do when you first start your game, and then we'll sort of go over what each thing above a unit is and what you should do with that. So, first thing you should do is take any units that you have in your backline and put them on cities. Now the reason for that is because units on cities produce funds. So as you can see, the more that I put units on cities, the more funds that I make per second. And so that's my current plan. Second is these little bars. So I'll pause the game here. I'll hit spacebar. Spacebar will pause in a replay. Won't pause in a real game, obviously. These are all the different info views you can pull up. So each one is numbered with the keybind that you can use. So if I want to turn off orders, these will just do orders without viewing it, as you can see. 4 is these little city flags, which is useful to see the health of your unit on your city. Health and morale are these little 2 things above units. I would recommend never turning those off. Those are both very important. Flags was 4. I did that. Stats is going to be your casualties, your troops, your funds. You're going to need all that. No reason to turn that off. And then icons is helpful. That's going to show you if your unit's actually on a city. So as you can see, we have icons on. This right here, this little house means a unit is on the city. So that means it's contributing to your funds. The little heart icon, we'll see that in a second. I'll keep playing it. That heart icon means your unit's far enough away from the front line to regain health. So top bar is health, bottom bar is morale. If your unit is too close to the front line, it will not heal. And that also applies to on a city. So if the front line was right here, up on my city, a unit on the city would not heal. It would still produce funds because it's on the city, but it would not regenerate its health. So that's important to keep in mind. So that's your icons. You will also see a icon once this guy hits the forest. Heavy units will have this. It's a little tree icon here that represents the heavies in the forest. So heavies take massive combat and movement penalties in the forest, so you want to avoid having your heavies in the forest when you can. Generally speaking, if you have to have them in the forest, it's not the end of the world. They still have the extra health compared to a light unit. Heavies have double the health of a light unit. So if you have to have them in the forest, if it's all you got, then it's all you got. But as you can see, like these heavies on these plains here don't have that. But he's in the forest currently, so he is going to be taking damage to that attrition. Next is players. Click the 8 button, and you can see your opponent here. And then chat is either 9 or T. And you can hit send message, and you'll see a bunch of messages here. I can't do it because I'm in a replay, but you get the idea. So, general strategy here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the game. So I got all my units on my cities, and I started producing funds with those units. Now, obviously, the combat's happening. You have to pay attention to the combat, and I'll get a lot more into combat strategy as we continue through the game. But when I want to... also, I forgot to mention the production tab here. So, number 7, when you are playing the actual game and you're not in a replay, you have 2 bars. One on the right side that has light units at the top and heavy units at the bottom, and these are sliders, so you can go up and down. And the other that has a max and a minimum. So the max and the minimum slider is how much your units are going to be produced. So when there are sliders all the way at max, it's going to produce a unit as soon as you have the funds to afford it. When you're at minimum, it's not going to produce any units at all. And then for the heavy and light slider, at the very top, you put it all the way up, it's only going to produce light units. At the very bottom, it's only going to produce heavy units. And remember, it's only going to produce them if your slider is above the minimum mark. If you go in the middle, then you'll produce half light, half heavy. You get the idea. So, excuse me, that's how that works. So, and then these little bars are showing all your cities that are connected to each other. So, it's going to default to all these being connected because these are the cities that I started with. So, all these cities are connected up. If I capture a city, like for example, if I captured this city, it would not have these bars to it. you'd have to click your production tab and click on that city, and that would add these bars to it, which is going to allow you to produce units on it. If these gray bars are not connected to a city, it will not produce units on that city. So that's going to be a thing to keep in mind. Another note for economy and production is light units cost 200 funds to produce, and heavy units cost 400 funds to produce, and all units cost upkeep. So if you have the maximum amount of units that you can support with your cities, then you will not be able to afford to produce new units. Even if you had, a lot of funds, your funds would start to decrease. So right now, see the arrow, my funds are increasing because I have units on all of my cities and I haven't produced too many. So for 1v1s, this is sort of a general strategy tip. So this map's a 5-city map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-city maps, I like to produce 2 units. So when I produce 2 units, that's going to allow me to keep making funds, but also rotate units on and off of my cities without losing funds. So let me give you an example. If I produce all the units that are possible for me to produce, and my funds are even with all my cities covered, right? So if I have every city with a unit on it and my funds are even and they're not increasing, as soon as I move a unit off of that city, the funds are going to go down. When your funds get to 0, your units will start to die to attrition, or just simply they will just die because they are losing, they don't have enough funds to support them. So as you can see, currently my funds are going up. I produced my first unit over there earlier. If I produce all those units, then I can't pull units off of cities to help me out, which is bad because I want to be able to pull those units off, or they're not really very helpful. So right now, for 5-city maps, I like to produce 2 units. 2 units will allow me to rotate multiple units from the front line back to a city and from the city onto the front line at the same time, so that they can keep reinforcing each other and allowing them to go back and heal. So like this, I pull that fresh unit off the city and pull that damaged unit down to the city. And then I can use that fresh unit where I see fit, anything like that. So obviously, I'm going to pause here. We're shooting for a total number of units. So I started the game. I don't remember exactly how many, but I'll produce 2 units. If I lose a unit, I need to produce another one to make it back up. So that's the general idea behind why I choose to do that. So the numbers also just go up depending on how much you're at. So for example, we can produce 2 units with 5 cities, 1 unit with 4 cities, and 3 units with 6-city maps. So just keep in mind how many cities you have on your map, and that'll sort of let you know how many you should produce. So I'm currently trying to save as many units as possible. I do lose that one, so that's going to allow me to produce another one. I got all my cities covered, and I have a dead unit. So what am I going to do with that dead unit? I'll do it here in a second. I'm going to bring him all the way back to that city to heal up. And I'm going to bring that gorgeous fresh unit that's just hanging out there into the front line. So there's that. And that's pretty much how we're going to play the game. So you don't want to produce too many units, or you're going to end up not being able to do this rotation. And you're also going to want to do this rotation often. You don't want your troops to get super low. Now, in my case, Mr. Target here attacked me recklessly on this front line, and so I couldn't bring all the units in that I wanted to bring in. I did weaken this front line because there's nothing happening here. So if you have a front line like this, you can thin it out to help you with your troop rotation down here, which is a good strategy. Now, I'm also going to even bring this off because I need to produce another unit because I had lost a unit or 2 up there. So we're fine with that, and we're just going to continue to attack. Now, I wanted to mention morale and health. So health, obviously, when your unit gets to 0, he dies. All the way down at this green bar here, he gets to 0, he dies. The amount of health your unit has does not affect the damage that it does in any way. Now, I also need to mention morale. This blue bar here, that is what affects the damage of your unit. So if your unit has max morale, I believe it does 5 times more damage than when it has no morale. So basically what that means is that if you can keep your units at full morale while your enemy has low morale, you're going to be doing a lot more damage. Now, as you can see, this unit has full morale. Look at that health bar just ticking down, and look at that health bar barely moving. Same with this one. He's getting even attacked by 2, barely moving. But this guy's getting shredded because full morale. Morale depletes very quickly and only regenerates while your unit is not attacking. So, that's going to be the strategy for 1 versus 1 games. You want to keep your high morale units cycled in and your low morale units cycled out. If you cycle purely based on health, you're going to have a lot of units sitting attacking with no morale, doing mediocre damage. And if your opponent cycles more high morale troops in, then you're going to be taking much higher casualties than your opponent, simply because you have less morale than he does. Now, obviously, in this fight, it was very chaotic from the start, so I didn't have as many options as far as morale troop rotation. But we're still doing a good job keeping units alive. You don't want to lose units because it costs money to produce a unit, and money takes a while to generate. As you can see, just slowly generating up. So you want to take your time there. And as you can see, we're still moving these dead units onto cities and moving the fresh units in. And we got a lot of healthy units there because of our rotations. We got a lot of healthy units here because of our rotations. And he has not been rotating properly. He hasn't pulled anyone off of his main front line. So he's going to have a harder time winning this fight just because, like, this unit's pinched, for example. It's stuck. All these units are damaged. They have low morale. They're building up their morale, but you get the idea. So we're going to try and kill some units here. I don't know if we actually get the kill on this heavy. We definitely get that light unit, so that's a big win for us. A dead unit is always a victory because that's going to force him to restock. And check this out. He's got these low units here, but he's not swapping onto these cities. So if I'm him, I'm pulling this unit right here all the way onto the city and pulling that unit on to help me in my assault. Because right now this unit's doing nothing. And in fact, he's not even healing because he's too close to the front lines. So that's just a waste of space. You always want to be very attentive with your micromanagement of your troops like that, or you're going to lose. And it's going to be, you're going to wonder, why did I lose? What happened? That's going to be why. So definitely keep an eye on that. I'll sort of start to get into general battle strategy as we watch through the rest of this game here. Like I noted before, we pushed up on his city down here, and so that unit will not heal on that city because it's too close to the front line. And then another thing to note about cities is that's what allows you to support your units, obviously with funds, and then also just with the fact that a single city can support, I believe, 6 or 5 units. I've heard 6, I've heard 5. I think it is 6, so if you have 10,000 funds but 1 city, you can only support 6 units with that. So that's why it's really important to hold on to your cities and to take cities. So that's what I'm currently trying to do. This is a mistake. I should move this unit onto the city. I should move this unit in. He has high morale. And I finally realized that, so we're doing that in the game. So yeah, you want to keep your cities because once this guy loses a city, some of his units may die just to attrition because he would have too many units to support. So I go ahead and take that city there, which means that he's going to start just losing units to attrition. We're going to gangbang these units here with full morale units. Those weren't healing at all, so bad idea. Should have rotated these units on. They've just done nothing all game. And then I also wanted to make a note about encirclements. So, as I said, six units can be supported by a city, but they have to be connected up to an area that has a city. So, I take this city that this heavy's on, and I take this city, for example. That would mean all of these units do not have a city that they're connected to, which means they have no supply line. So think of your cities as your supply line, and they always need to be connected up to the front line. So, right, these guys have a supply line to this city, and this city, and this city. When I trap all these units, as you can see, the borders are split. There's a group of his units stuck in here. When I have that, these units are just going to die slowly without being attacked, and they're going to die at a rapid pace. Like, you'd be surprised. They die so quickly just simply because they have no supply line. So anytime you can get an encirclement, even on a single unit, That's going to give you massive casualty advantages, and that's what's going to allow you to get the upper hand, get more troops than your opponent, and slowly beat them down. So that was a pretty solid game. Let's go ahead and find another replay here, and then also wanted to make a note. Don't look at your stats page too much because it is probably wrong. So I want to note that there, and I also wanted to note that a lot of I forgot my train of thought is. So anyway, we'll just get into the next game. We'll discuss a little more on strategy here. I believe this is a one-on-one I played during my live stream the other day, so definitely check that live stream out. You can find it on the channel. I stream maybe once a week if I can get to it. I have a bit of a busy schedule, so I do my best. But regardless, you know the strategy. We get all of our units on our cities, and basically with these, so I'm finding the line I can thin. We're going to move this guy out, try not to leave any gaps for him to sort of break through and encircle my unit. Our general goal is going to be to find a front that we can attack on and rotate our troops quickly from. So, we're rotating onto cities, and that's going to be our main strategy here. We're going to rotate onto cities. So the closer to the city that you are, the better luck that you'll have. So we'll go ahead and speed things up. Also a note, if you're looking at your replays, you can hit the up arrow to speed up time, and you can hit the down arrow to slow it back down. So I produce 1 unit. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 city map, so we should be producing 2 units. And I'm going to begin my assault up top, rotating based on morale. As you can see there, that troop ran out of morale. Even though he has full health, we move him out. Heavies are a little harder to rotate based on morale just because their morale drains so fast, but they're still so full of health. So continue moving people in and out. We're gonna lower this a little. Try and just do based on that morale, and see where we can get going. So, yep. So as you can see, I'm doing more damage. His casualties are going up quickly, just because I'm rotating those units. So just keep that up, and we got a lot of units moving down to cities, up from cities at a time. So it gets chaotic. You just have to stay disciplined and keep it going. And then I'm going to sort of mention a general strategy tip here that's going to be important. So he gets me here with a 2-on-1. So 2 units attacking 1 unit is going to be a big victory for you, because obviously you're going to do double the damage from 2 units and take half the casualties because it's 1 unit split between 2. So you want to avoid that at all costs against you, and you want to enforce that at all costs for you. So we have these 2 units attacking here. And that's going to be generally my strategy as I continue to rotate units down onto cities and rotate units up into the front line to keep my morale high. He's doing a pretty good job. He's doing the same thing as me. He's not using these southern cities. So even though they seem far away, you do want to rotate units all the way from the front back to the southern cities so that you can have that fresh unit there, and that unit's going to take quite a long time to heal up. And then he also has no unit on a city for no reason. So he does attack me down south, which is a bit rough because I did pull a unit away. But he's losing money and funds. As you can see, the arrow is down. He's losing money and funds because he doesn't have units on the city. So if these get to 0, he's going to start losing units just to attrition, which is not a worthwhile loss. So we're trying to keep our 2-on-1s going here, keep troops rotated based on morale as best we can. Obviously, a big important note, don't rotate a troop based on morale if it leaves a gap. So if there's a giant gap and I don't have a way to fill it and the troop is low on morale, like, for example, all 3 of these. Oh, I need to rotate them based on morale. Pull them out. There's a huge gap. Horrible things will happen. So you want to avoid that anytime that you can. And so you might have to leave some units that are not full morale in there when that's the case. So also wanted to note the buff that you get if you're a defensive unit. So, for example, this unit is attacking my unit. As you can see, his arrow is pointing forward. If he had morale, his morale will drain really fast because it's an attacking unit. When your unit has an order, so whether that's commanded to be backwards, forwards, any direction, if it has any order at all, it's considered an attacking unit. Attacking units lose morale at a significantly faster pace than defending units do. So you can use that to your advantage. If you have an attacking unit, or a unit attacking you, and you have a full morale unit that's getting attacked, just leave it in a defensive state. So this unit has no order, so it's in a defensive state. That means it's going to lose less morale. Now, this is a lot of micromanagement that you have to deal with if you're going to try and get that to work. You need to make sure that each unit does not have an order, and that's what's going to be a little difficult. So I do my best to do that, but it's not always possible in-game. And as you can see, we're going for these encirclements, and we get that one. He's separated. We're trying to push forward and close gaps so that his unit is getting attacked while also being encircled to make it lose health a lot quicker. We get these two units here. So that's 10,000 casualties worth of a light unit and 40,000 casualties worth of a heavy unit gone. And as you can see, I have a massive troop lead just because my rotation has been slightly better than his. And that allows me to get the upper hand and get the advantage because he kept his units not on his cities. He kept healing units back. But I moved mine all the way back to my cities and pulled them all the way in. So generally speaking, that's going to be your strategy. You want to find the front that allows you to maintain an attacking and quick rotating posture while not getting yourself encircled and having encirclement opportunities against your enemies. So pretty simple once you figure it out. Just units back to cities. Like, for example, this should be on a city and this should come out. That's a mistake. This should be on a city and that should, or this should be on a city and that should come out. This unit is just sitting here doing nothing. Okay, there we go. I pull him in. Once the game slowly deteriorates, you'll notice it gets really messy. There's a lot of things going on. It's hard to kind of tell what you should be doing. And that's fine. You won't always be perfect. I promise you, if you ever decide to make War of Dots YouTube videos, you will have tons of people in your comment section saying, "You missed an encirclement here," or "Why didn't you rotate this unit on?" Like, even just watch my own replay. There's two units here, all the way at the back line. No need. Just pull that unit forward, right? It doesn't make any sense. But obviously, I don't know that. So, another thing to note with the production and the economy. I take another city, so that gains me 6 more units that I can have without losing funds. So, remember at the beginning of the game, 5-city game, I produced 2 units so that I could keep rotating my troops without losing funds. Well, now I just captured this city. So what should I do? Obviously, first of all, we'll note that it's not selected as a place to produce units because remember, once you take a city, you have to click your 7 key and click on that city to add it in with these bars to keep it producing. So we'll note that, but I capture a new city. So I should take my slider on the left side of my screen and max out my unit production and pull units off of cities and produce those 6 units that I can now afford. Now, obviously, I need the funds for that, so don't pull them off immediately if you can't produce them on all of them immediately. But once you get a new city, you need to increase your production because you can afford those units. That's going to give you a much better troop advantage, more options. So that's what you're going to want to go for. So we'll see here in a second. I clicked on there. As you can see, those bars connected. And now all these cities are going to be producing units. And the game is sort of simplifying now. He's retreated off. He's going to see if he can defend with his last 68,000 troops. Over 100,000 units gone. And I'm going to just bring everybody in. So what I did there was a multi-unit command with a line tool used. So I'll sort of get into some control things if you want to learn how to make your dots move in cool ways to be more efficient with your dot movement. And I'll sort of show you that on a custom map in a little bit. So we'll get to that in a second. But first we'll write out this game. I have the advantage, so I just want to make sure everybody's protected. I don't want to leave my cities undefended and allow him to snipe one out because that's how he can turn the game around. Right now, if I just build up units, take his cities, I take another city. If I just build up units slowly and continue to fight him and keep high morale, high health units in, we will just win the match because we have such a better economic advantage. So it really does matter your economy. If you don't keep your economy well managed, then you will not win the game just purely based on the fact that your economy really is important. So as you can see, I accidentally left all these units encircled because they're too far away from my city to, I actually want to make a note on this. They're too far away from my city to, to be connected. So he died immediately. A heavy unit died down there, and that's not good. So when you have a city, it has sort of a what I want to call a projection zone, an invisible zone around it that makes it easier for you to keep your line there. So as I pull in, right, this projection zone causes the back half here to snap off and not connect up to my city, which means my units are encircled. So if I'm defending a city, I can use that to my advantage. Like if I'm blue here, I can use this to my advantage to get around units and to have a massive bonus on casualties. But at this point, it's too far gone for blue. I have too big of an advantage. I actually end up connecting it back up by just pulling a unit out. Remember, it's just units that control the production line. If you have two units closer together, you can keep that supply line intact. So that's what I try to do. I do it poorly because I'm trying to move 20,000 units at a time as I try and wrap up this game. So pretty solid game here. It was a good one. After this game, I'll go into a little bit of controls, and then we'll get into some strategy for free-for-all multiplayer games. And yeah, we'll go from there. So this city's unoccupied. I should have just taken that immediately. That's a mistake. Remember, it only takes one unit on a city to take the city. So I could have just plopped the unit there. He would have had no cities and would have won the game right there. But it doesn't happen. However, we have an absolutely insane force coming in, and here we will wrap him up and finish the game. So we'll let this play out, speed things up a little bit. That's the problem with this, is I have all these units, but I can only attack one unit at a time. So there you go. That's a little bit of economy, general strategy, how to rotate your troops properly. And next we'll get into some controls that you should be aware of in the game. And then after that, we'll go into free-for-all / multiplayer strategy, which gets a lot more complicated. So I'll see you in that next clip. All right, so welcome in. So here I'm just on a little custom game with an AI. We're just gonna use this to test to show you some control settings that you can use to be a little better about controlling your dots. So the first thing I want to do is also show you these economy sliders that I had mentioned earlier. Max unit production is going to produce units as soon as you can afford it. Minimum unit production is going to limit that, and this AI is going to start attacking me. And then this slider, so right in the middle, it's going to produce one light unit, then one heavy unit. Up here, it's going to produce a couple light units, then a heavy unit. All the way up here, only lights. All the way up here, only heavies. Excuse me. So that's the sliders. So controls, obviously. Click on your units, drag it, and that will create an order. Now there's a setting in the game settings. I'll pause it for a second. There's a setting in the game settings that is auto confirm orders. You should turn that off. In fact, let me just show you it right now. In settings right here, auto confirm orders. You want no. Now, you could withhold it, or you could do it. I don't know if it defaults to no or defaults to yes. It might default to yes, but basically, yeah, you want to turn that off, because what that's going to do is when you draw an order, it'll immediately confirm. So make sure I have it off. So what that means is that I'm going to have to hit return or enter. You can also right-click. It's not listed here, but right-click's what I tend to use to confirm orders. So when you draw the order, it won't happen. You have to confirm it. So we'll go play. We'll do my custom map. We'll test it. We'll just put it all on max lights for purposes of demonstration. So I draw the order, and I have to hit either enter to confirm it or right-click to confirm it. And that's going to move it there. Note that the unit's center will be on the tip of the arrow. So it goes a little farther than you think it will. Like, for example, if I want to put it on the edge, you actually want it to be back, like here, because it'll go there and sort of stop. So that's one way to confirm orders. You can draw any little combination of orders that you would like to draw. You can do that. And there you go. You can make crazy orders. And then also of note, I've been clicking it a lot, but I haven't really said what it is. You can cancel orders with the S button. So if I draw this order here and I hit S, it's going to just get rid of that order. Because I can do all these crazy complex orders. You go here, and then you go behind him, and then you come up and hit from the top, and then you follow in, right? Oh, man, that's not going to work. S clears it all. Now, if you have a unit that's actively being ordered, hitting S doesn't do anything. You have to click on the unit and then hit S, and that's going to pause his orders, and it's going to make him stop. So that's one way to do it. Now, you can also select multiple units by either accidentally doing it. Now, I think this shouldn't be in the game. 2 units overlapping, you can click, and you'll hit both of them if you hit the overlap. So that's one way to select 2 units. Also, you can just draw. Now, if you notice, you can just draw. That's so you can circle units and select them. So you could do crazy shapes, like I want this unit and this unit, but without getting that unit. So you can select, you kind of have to be creative about it, but you can select anything you want. If you just try and click on multiple units, it's just going to draw the order. You can also shift click like a presentation. So I click here, hold shift, click, 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 click. Now I have all those units selected. So that's one way to select multiple units at a time. Now also of note is, like, I can circle all these. Now I can draw an order, but remember, it's going to apply to all these units. So if I just go straight, then all the units are just going to go straight in the same way that I drew that. So if I go like this and I draw even up here just straight, they'll just go straight. So no matter where you draw, if you just circle them and draw an order, they will all do that crazy order. So yeah, as you can see, they will all do this crazy whack-a-mole order. Now I can circle all of them and hit S to cancel it. So that's how you do that. Now another tool that there is you can circle multiple units. Let's see, say they're all kind of bunched up, they're in a weird spot. All my units are combined together, and it looks bad, and the enemy's approaching, and I want to make sure that they're all in a more reasonable place, more reasonable spot. I want to form a line, for example, on this river. What I can do is I can circle all these units, and then I can hold Control and draw a line. So as you see here, it's going to draw a line, and when I let go of that, it's going to automatically format all these troops into an even line when I confirm that order. There are some issues with the line command, I will tell you that. So we'll let that line form up, and I can even circle this line. Still making a ton of fun, so don't have to worry about that. If I do like a, let's see if I can get this to work. Like, there we go. So I did a shorter line. These are far apart, but it's making this unit come all the way up to there, and this unit come all the way up to there. Does that make any sense? No. This unit should go here. 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 This unit should go here or here. You get the idea. It's not perfect. It sends units in weird places. It does weird things. So you want to be wary of that when you're considering using the line tool. Generally speaking, if you draw a line that's the same length as the units that you have, it'll be fine. But if I all of a sudden increase the length of the line, we're going to get units on the inside that go to the outside. And that's going to create either gaps, or your units are going to get stuck on each other. There's no terrain on this map, but that's what happens is they'll kind of get stuck on each other. So I also wanted to sort of mention water real quick and how water works. So now we know how to control our units. We know how to move them all around and do crazy things with them. We know how to cancel our orders. But there's a lake. What do we do? So if you have your icons on with the 6 key, which I do here, you notice once he hits the water, he gets the water icon. Now, units in water will slowly die, and they will be weaker. So, as you can see there, his health bar slowly going down. My casualties aren't updating, but health bar slowly going down because he's in the water. And that's why you get that exclamation mark, and that's not good. But there are boats in this game, and that will help them move better in the water and operate better. So as you can see, if I just command this unit to go across the water, he's going to be stuck in a sort of watery, slow, lame state. We don't want that. You can see he moves like a super slow as compared to the way that this unit's moving much faster. So that's obviously going to be a negative. So what we want to do is get him to where he's in the water, but he needs to stop. So we get him to go into the water, and then he'll stop once he gets to the center right there. And as you can see, we get that little boat icon there, which means he's turning into a boat. Now we're going to wait a second, and boom, he turns into a boat. And there's a few interesting quirks about boats that I want to let you know. So now he moves much faster on water. As you can see, he's not as slow, and we don't have that watery icon. He does still take damage, so he's using up the resources that they put on the boat, right? So just like I was saying, if your units get disconnected, it's a supply line issue. So he's using up the resources, the supplies that they have on the boat. So he will slowly take damage. It's very slow when he's in a boat, but slow nonetheless. But he can move a lot faster. He's much more mobile. We can do things with him. So another note with boats. Boats do not cost funds upkeep. So we have all these troops in the back here. And let's see if I can get a better demonstration of this. But basically what I'm getting at is every unit costs upkeep, right? As we know, every unit costs money to upkeep. But a boat does not. Now, obviously, he's losing health. He's sitting there just dying in the water, slowly but surely. But he's not costing me any money. So that's a very interesting quirk of a boat you can kind of use to your advantage. If you have too many units, for example, and it's just you're losing funds and you're going to worry about attrition, you can either kill a unit or put a unit as a boat, and you won't lose funds. But that unit will slowly die, so you do have to keep that in mind. So we're making like 2 a second. Let's go like this, or like this. Okay, I'm gonna, for the purpose of the demonstration. So right now my funds are even. I've produced all the units I can afford with the cities that I have. What if I put this boat back on land? I don't want him on the water anymore. Once he gets to land, he's gonna turn back into a regular unit. Watch what happens. Now I'm losing funds because that unit now costs me upkeep. So we'll go ahead and put him back into a boat form so that I don't start attritioning units. Now, once I would have got to 0 here with my funds, units on the front line or anywhere, just random, would just start to die. So he turns into a boat, and we're back to even. So there you go. That's some of the quirks with boats. A note is that units die extra fast because they're dying from the water damage, and they're just not as weak when they attack, I believe. When they attack from water. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're going to do a landing from water and you try to attack, your units are going to die much quicker just by the fact that they're on water. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with him. As you can see, he dies a lot faster. I'm doing not a lot of damage. It's just generally not a good idea to attack on the water. It just doesn't seem to work very well. We'll go ahead and let that unit die just because. So another thing to mention, obviously we have the unit order system that I told you about, where the line that's dynamic and updates to where the position of your troops are. So, I talked about encirclements earlier and how encirclements can happen when you're too close to a city. Well, boats don't affect the borders. So, because they don't cost upkeep, they don't affect borders. So, if I'm doing over here with this unit, see the line expands to go around him, and the AI is going to freak out because there's a unit on his side of the board. See if he attacks me anyway. But when I bring this boat across, he doesn't affect the borders. The borders remain the same. Now, note, even though this boat is in enemy territory, it actually does not make him lose health faster than he already does because he's on the water. Jeez, he really does not like this unit being here. That's an easy way to bait and switch an AI, I guess. But so he's still losing you're still gaining casualties because you have sorry, I lost my train of thought. Because you are on the water, but you're not losing any more because he's on the other side of the enemy line. So this is a great way to some maps have like a city off of a river. If an enemy does not place a unit on a city, you can swoop in there and snag that boy from the water. You just have to be wary that if the enemy notices, he can go and attack your unit while it's switching from a boat into a regular unit. So you have to keep that in mind. So that's going to be all the sort of control things. Obviously, I mentioned all of the things at the top here. I did not mention, so this is the surrender. If you accidentally click this or click it at all, you will just surrender immediately. And then this one is the make peace button. If you click there, it's going to offer a draw to your enemy. So if he accepts the draw, then that's what you'll be at. You'll both get a draw, and there's no winner. So that's what those do. I didn't get to show you the chat, so we'll hit T. You just hit send message, and you have these options here. That's about it. Good game. Send hi. It's an AI, so he's not going to respond. But you get the idea. It's going to pop up in the bottom. If an enemy chats, you'll see it. Commonly used to BM is your turn. Like if nobody's attacking, people just spam your turn, or if you're attacking them or prepare for a counterattack. Please don't do this. All the various silly little messages. Hopefully we get more down the line, but you get the gist. So that's that. And then if you click that, it'll send out the peace offering, and your opponent has to accept. I think because I have an AI, he will not accept. So go ahead and do another test of the old. Whoops, that is not what I want to do. The old line tool. We're gonna do a massive amphibious assault here, with a secondary strike force coming in behind to punch in, and then we'll have a strike group coming this way like this. Look at that. Isn't it just beautiful? They're all dying to water, and they're not turning into boats. So, as noted previously, look at him freaking out. He's moving his units everywhere. As noted previously, they won't turn into boats unless they are specifically stopped on water. Or they just won't turn into any boats. So, interesting to keep that in mind. Also of note, if you circle the units and click on one area, they will all be directed to go to that area. So that's good, good useful information if you're trying to assault a specific city, or if you have like a specific plan in mind for what you want to do. That's kind of a good way to get it to happen. So pull our units off our cities. We're going to lose like a lot of funds from that, but it's okay because we got the strike force going in. Goodness gracious, look at all these weak heavy units he has. It's kind of funny how the AI can just like sort of control more troops than you can at a time because he's an AI. He doesn't have to move his mouse, do human things. He can just do whatever he wants. He's an AI. Funnily enough, we're actually not winning here. We're actually losing quite bad because I just sent a Hail Mary amphibious assault. Oh, no way he makes it to the city. Wow. Hey, so we took the city. Also, he has no funds, so his units are just going to start dying to attrition because he has nobody on his cities. So that's why we don't do that. That is why we don't do that. And we have another amphibious assault beginning, making landfall. Go ahead and see if we can snake around. So this is when all these orders come in handy, and there's a reason why we want to keep all these. I generally don't do mass commands if I can avoid it, just because most of the time you're going to end up getting encircled because your units will push through, and then your enemy can allow them to push through and then push back, which is obviously not what we're shooting for. It's not good, so avoid that when you can. So there we go. That's the general control strategy. And next thing up, we will get into strategy for free-for-all multiplayer games. So of note, 3 or 4 players is the free-for-all strategy. It's listed here as the open battle, and we'll go ahead and join in and see if we can get a game. I'll see you in that next clip. All right, guys, welcome back in. And I was unable to find a 3-player or 4-player game, or it's taking too long, so I went ahead and busted out the replay here, and we'll sort of go through a match that I played on my live stream. And we'll talk it through. This is a 4-player game. I am in the blue position here, and we'll sort of talk about some general strategies. So, a few things remain the same as a single-player match. You're going to want to cover your cities and get that fun production going. Same sort of principle, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. So we're going to go ahead and produce. We're going to produce 2 units so that we can continue to rotate. So I'm going to pull from unvulnerable spots of the line, or if I pull from a more vulnerable spot, I will condense the line. As you can see, Orange is doing that too. He's pulling out to get units on cities, and he's going to be able to sort of pull out. So I will make a note here. When you're playing in these 4-player multiplayer games like this, it's more of a mental game. So you have to know when your opponent's going to attack you. You kind of got to manipulate them into either liking you, not liking you, etc., etc. So anything like that, you kind of have to know what's going on. You also have to watch the borders to see what's happening with other players, because remember, I have fog of war. I can't see what's happening down here, and over here. So you sort of have to pay attention to that. Now, there's a couple strategies we can do here, and I'll kind of go over my favorite one real quick. So Orange is sort of doing it. He's put units on his city, so purple goes for the assault. Orange has put 2 units to protect this city, and he's condensed into a thick line here. And as you can see, purple's done the same thing. So he's moved all of his units onto his cities here to defend them and allow him to pull units off of this front line to use on this front line. Now, what that's going to do for you is give you a numbers advantage, so you can either rotate quicker or just have more troops to attack your enemy. Now, when you do this, you have to be careful, because we got a unit playing Ring Around Rosie. Anyway, when you do this, you've got to be careful, because they could assault you, and if you don't react in time on this city or this city, then you could end up losing a city. Now, the only time that it's going to take a while, right? Because you've got 2 heavy units, full health, defensive, full morale units. It's going to take them some time to whittle that down. So you have time to react, but you have to be careful. So I'm kind of doing that here. I'm moving some units off this line. Now, granted, I am live streaming this game, which means that there is a chance that the people will sort of try to grief me and attack me, because I am the one live streaming the game. So I have to make a mental note of that. Now, I noticed that red and purple are fighting, so I sort of have a couple options here. I could attack into red, and use that as a moment of advantage to gain value from my attacks, and we could sort of both crush red, eliminate him, me and purple, and hope that I get more cities out of the exchange. Now, the problem with that is if purple's winning against red and I come and get involved, and red is able to defend me and purple gets 3 cities and I get 1 city or 2 cities, then I actually just lost troops in order for purple to have an easier time gaining cities. So that's sort of an issue. So I'm starting to attack orange here. And I noticed that red is bringing all of his units off so he can defend his line. And I use that as an opportunity to bring more units off red's line to continue to help my rotation with orange here. I'll speed things up a little bit. So I elect to, instead of going for red, I'm going to fight orange, because I think it's better for me. I have a better chance of pushing into this city and this city, or at least pushing the offensive front line back far enough to keep this city from healing units. So that's what we're doing. We're going to do our rotations. We produced the units we need to produce, so we stopped our production now, and we're gonna play it like a single 1v1, right? We're just gonna rotate units off and on and slowly whittle him down as best we can. It's pretty even for now. I have a slight lead, but obviously he doesn't have to worry about purple's line either, and I don't know this. I can't see, so he has basically the same amount of units that I have fighting in the same fight, and he actually gets a lead going there, which is not good. So we're gonna try and remedy that with improving our rotations a little bit, because I haven't been rotating as effectively as I probably could up until this point. So we're gonna try and maintain that and do a better job of that. So I could be pulling more units off red's line. That's my mistake. And as you notice, like that retreat for him with purple and the retreat from there with purple was actually a really good. What are we doing? Was actually a really good. Was a really good idea because they're not attacking now. Purple might decide to attack here, and I have to be worried about this. So if I'm being vigilant in the game, when you're playing in these multiplayer free-for-all games, you have to pay attention. These players stop fighting. So what does that mean? They might attack me. They might. So obviously, as the blue player, it's going to be red. I have to be worried about red because purple has this tiny fraction of a line right here. He could push through it, but you know, red would have to get involved. It's just less likely. I've played a lot of this game. I know it's less likely. So I'm assuming in my head that purple, if red and purple decide on a stalemate, purple will push into orange here, which is what happens, and he gets a great encirclement down south. And if I get attacked, it would be from red. So red is making art in the ocean while the rest of us play the game, and then he decides to fight purple again. So now purple is getting good value on orange, and that allows me to continue my rotation, and I'm actually going to have more success because he has to pull frontline units off to help defend his city down south, which he really does not want to lose. So he's doing that now, and I'm going to continue to push in. I'm going to try and get to this city and get to this city. I have the unit advantage, but I have to be cautious because red could come in to slam me, and red just killed a unit for some reason while he's making 4 funds a turn. So interesting. But anyway, purple does get the city. So now, what does that mean? Purple can produce a bunch of units, right? We talked about this in the 1v1 game. This means purple is able to produce 6 more units because he gained that city. So purple is now winning. If purple plays his cards right from here on out, defends his cities, plays effectively, he will win the entire game. So we have to be extra careful about this. Shout out to Powder. He is currently playing as purple. I believe he also uploads War of Dots content, so it's spelled just like that, Powder. Check out his channel. He played a great game in this one. So we'll keep seeing our way through it. We're going to have to get it going pretty quick, or this one's going to be long, because you can actually check out the full live gameplay of this as a standalone YouTube video. But anyway, I actually fight through orange and get this city. So now me and purple are even on cities. Purple's going to get aggressive with me, try and take that city. And I'm going to keep pushing into Mr. Orange, and purple is as well. So now if you're orange, you're like, dude, what am I supposed to do? I'm getting attacked by 2 people. And if you're me, you're thinking, well, I want to get as many cities out of this as I can in order to maximize my chances of winning after purple gained a city. So we're going to keep our defensive line going. I made a new city so I can produce more units, and I think you heard some clank in there. That hammer sounds the sound of unit production. So we're going to keep trying that. We're going to keep rotating units out and in, doing our best to keep high morale units in, high health units in, while also keeping enough of a presence here. So thankfully, purple is drawn away by an assault from red. Now, I guess not thankfully, because purple was helping me with orange. So the fact that this happens creates a problem for me, and the fact that orange is going to fight all the more harder. Now, he only has 80,000 to my 280,000, and I'm actually still gaining troops even during the combat because I'm able to produce more units. So big advantage for me. I should win this fight, but they disengage again. So this is the scary thing, is you got to be wary of this. I'm getting a little bogged down over here with Mr. Orange, and that's not good because this is giving red time to set up the diabolical naval assault that he goes ahead and pulls off. Now what's going to happen here? So he's going for a full encirclement there, trying to get to my city as fast as he can and keep my units from existing while I'm still fighting orange. So I see, I forgot to notice this. He encircles my city. Now, this is an encirclement, but not really, because I have a city in there. This is less than 6 units. This city can support these units. So they are encircled in the sense that purple is going to be able to take the city because I can't connect it up and reinforce it. But they're also not encircled in the sense that they won't just lose that extra health. So anyway, now I'm getting attacked from purple and red, and that's just blows. So when you're getting attacked on two fronts, you want to try and either retreat from the front where your opponent's weaker. So I retreat from Orange's front because he's the weaker opponent. He has way less troops. Purple is the winning opponent because he just gained another city. And so I have to retreat there because I know that Orange isn't going to counterattack into me because he's weak. Now, things simplify. Red actually attacks into Purple again, but I still lost a city. So no bueno, not good at all. There's a lot of just sort of macro strategy. I'm going to kind of hit into Orange again now that Purple has sort of let off on me. But I'm going to keep this line here ready to go. And just in case Purple decides to assault up into me again. That's actually not a great idea. I should have it would have been better to just keep some units by this city here and use the rest of these to attack on the Orange front line. Because these units are sitting here doing nothing. If you have units doing nothing, you can probably find out something to do with them. So it's a good general rule of thumb. So we're going to keep attacking Orange, and we're really just going to try and get that city. So he actually comes across the way and gets a naval assault going. Red has pulled off of me. He went and attacked Purple. He's going to go back and attack Purple once again. And Orange is a solid player. He's been unlucky this match in the sense that we've been attacking him. But he is good. He keeps his troops rotated off. He keeps healing units on his cities. And it's just not his fault that he was attacked in the way that he was attacked. So Purple and Red still going at it. I should have seen this and just said, oh, well, I'll just leave Purple alone. But Purple also has the troop lead, so it might have been beneficial for me to actually even fight Purple at this point because he has a one city lead and a troop lead, and that troop lead is only going to get bigger with time as his city lead increases. So Red's still fighting Purple. They have a blood feud, I guess, is the way to say it. And I'm still fighting with Orange here, trying to get my best rotations going, make the best possible moves that I can, and have the best effect. So it's very chaotic. I have a lot of units that I could be moving onto cities, but it's hard. It's hard when there's a lot going on. So, obviously do your best. You won't be perfect. Do your best. This unit's useless. This unit's useless. This unit's defending that city. So it's just not worth it to have it the way that I have it. Now, Purple comes up to attack Orange. What happens if Purple takes these 2 or 3 cities? Oh no, I lose the entire game. Because what's going to happen is he's going to have such an insurmountable city lead that there's nothing I can do to beat him, besides teaming up with my opponents here. So I go for the city snipe there just because there was an opportunity. It was empty. He catches me though. And Purple does gain a city, and he's looking to gain another one. So now I'm in a losing position here. Red is doing art again, and Purple is just winning, and Orange is slowly dying. Orange is down to 15,000 troops. Keep this in mind. Remember this number, 14,800. So I'm sort of trying to plan out my macro strategy. Do I go for Purple here? Will Red support me in my quest for Purple? How is this going to work out? Because now this whole front line that was an Orange front line 1 minute ago is just a full Purple front line. His troop lead is 100,000 over me. I need help. And I need it now, or I will lose the game without a shadow of a doubt. So we're hoping and praying that Red comes in to help, and I give up on attacking Orange. Now, kudos to Orange here. He stays in the game. Red produces 10,000 units. Way too many. They're all going to die because he's losing funds. But anyway, he assaults anyway. So now Purple's getting attacked from 2 of us, which is good. 3 of us if you count Mr. Orange fighting where he can. And our line's sort of stabilized right there. We're going to just do our best to defend against this huge amount of Purple units that he has. While Mr. Red just sends an absolute monstrosity of half-dead units. So that's cool. But anyway, Purple's going to have to decide what to do. So now at this point, I'm losing troops because my Purple line is much more dense and violent compared to Red and Orange's Purple line. So we're just gonna do our best to survive here, and we all have to fight purple or he will win. Look at his funds, 7,000. He's making a ton. He should be producing units rapidly. So I'll tell you another strategy. So as we noted, these little hearts mean that the unit's healing, right? And this little thing means it's on a city. Now, he has 7,479 funds, right? He's making 10 funds per second, up to 89. So he can produce 10 more units. If he has all of his cities covered, like he has now, he can produce 10 more units, and then he will be at even funds. So what he should do is, even though this unit's minimum health, he should pull it off here and just leave it and let another unit produce and do that 10 more times until there's 10 almost dead units sitting here, but they're all healing. Because what that does is that allows you to heal and regenerate 10 units at a time. 10 units at a time instead of just the one that's on the city. And that allows you to increase your troop count way faster if you do it that way. So, but that only applies if you have a massive funded city advantage and fund advantage like purple does here. So, purple actually retreats to just try and simplify the game and prevent red. Red has gone Super Saiyan with his production and is now lost all of his units because they were all half dead. Purple actually goes in to steal that city, and he gets it because red left the city undefended with a gap in the line, which is a horrible idea. Now, I was going to go try and take that city. Red had a lot of units. Blue has his max. So it is 4 units then, or 5 units then, not 6. So anytime that I've had 6 units said in this video, it's 5 that a city can support. One city can support 5 units. So orange has all 5 of his units there. He's going to try his best to fight purple. He gets a good encirclement there. That's actually a really well done move by orange there. Remember, 15,000. He's now at 30,000. So it's equalizing. He's down to 200,000 troops. I'm up to, or 230. I'm almost at 200,000. And we're just going to see what we can do. So orange is still chipping away at purple while I am also attacking purple. Red has retreated far back. He's lost 2 cities, which is actually abysmal because that gives purple an even bigger advantage. So red actually made things worse. But regardless, we have to keep trying to assault or we know that purple will win the game. So that's kind of part of the macro strategy. Who is winning? How can I attack them? Who will help me attack them so that I have a chance to come back later in the game? Now, thankfully, purple doesn't do the strategy where he just pulls all these units off of his cities rapidly to continue to produce a ton. Because look at that funds. He can pull all of his units off his cities right now and instantly produce. So here comes red to assault those cities. He's going to gain them back, which is good. And now I'm going to continue to assault down. I'm really trying to get this city. So that's sort of our ultimate goal. Orange is trying to get this city. Purple is just leaving units over there, just hanging out, chilling, vibing, relaxing. Because orange isn't really a big threat. So I'm just kind of sitting, letting my units replenish while purple gets shellacked by 3 players. Because I know that this is the best opportunity. Now, at this point in the game, think about it like this. Purple is winning because of city count, troop count, fund count. But who's actually in a better position, right? Who's actually in a better position? Can you think of who's actually in the better position? Leave your answer in the comments below. The answer, I'll tell you now. 3, 2, 1. Did you get it? It's me. Because I have the second most troops, the second most cities, the most concrete front line, and I'm not getting attacked by 3 people. Purple is getting attacked by 3 people. So he's in actually a tough spot. He got too big, too powerful. Everybody attacked him. So that's sort of the thing about getting big in this game and having success is that he's actually in a losing situation now because everybody knows that he's winning. So it's sort of the paradox. The only way he could have saved that is if he was able to... I think he overextended on his attack into me. What he ended up doing was he attacked me. I actually get all these units encircled, which is devastating. Anyway, yeah, he attacked me, which resulted in him losing a lot and not having as good of a front line with red. If he had just stopped attacking, played fully defensive after he got these 2 cities up here, I would guess, and just built up his full offensive line, he would have had better success. So I actually am able to take this city here from purple, which encircles those 2 units, which is going to cause them to die very quickly as I continue the assault to push towards that city. So now, as you can see, 1 by 1, purple loses a city. So now purple actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities. So I'm down by 1 city now. I could probably have stolen this if I had seen it. Now I am up by 1 city because he just lost a city. And I'm about to be up by 2 cities because he's going for that one. Orange is going for that one. So I actually do go for that city. Catch it in time and try and get out of there with that unit. That's why I take off orange the whole game. And I always go for that. Anyway, so now purple is losing. I have the most troops on the board. Purple is now actually even losing to red, who has been playing like an absolute bloody maniac this whole game. So now my task is actually to try and not let red get this city, but I fail. And he does get that city. So now red is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 cities. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities. So me and red will be on equal footing as far as cities. I just have more troops. So it is going to be a battle between me and red. But remember, purple's still in this. Now, in most regular non-stream games, purple would have quit, orange would have quit, it would have been over. But this is why you don't quit, because crazy things have happened. Crazy things will happen. So now I am in the winning position. I have the most troops, tied for the most cities, and now I'm just assaulting red to try and gain that city back from him. And I actually go in here and snipe this city from red because he had a weak unit on it. And we're going to bring more troops in from the back lines to try and build up troops like I was mentioning earlier. We're just kicking units off even when they're low just to build another troop. And I don't do it too much because I'm a little sketched out about how much I'm making. But I am making 20 seconds, so that's a bad idea. Anyway, we're just trying to defend this city here and capture this city here. So we keep sending troops down. We keep sending troops over. Doing the best we can. But look at orange. 138,000. He is now at 3 cities. 3 cities. If you heard that correctly. 3 freaking cities. So he's back to glory. Also, purple is in the game. And he's assaulting my city. So now, look at how it's turned. I am now being attacked by 2 players. With a 3rd player on the rise, approaching and almost rivaling my troop count. Orange is going to set up his line, and he's going to assault this city. All 3 players attacking me. How do I defend it? I actually did steal the city from red. Forgot to note that. Purple continues to punch in. Rough, rough, rough. He has 100,000 troops. These guys combined have way more troops than me. Orange takes that city from me. Not good, not good. I'm not able to get the city from red. My troops get encircled. My attention is split too many ways. And I'm actually going to lose this city too. So I'm actually in a losing position now. See how the game continues on. Tell you what, 10 times speed is a little bit laggy. Goodness gracious. Anyway. Now, he's back in the game. Mr. Orange here. From 15,000 troops. And I'm here trying to think of my macro strategy. What's my macro strategy? Remember, 4-player game, 3-player game. Micro strategy with troop rotation still applies, but your macro strategy, the mental games with your opponents, is more important. So, my macro strategy here is going to be to get as many units as I can, keep my lines defensive. And as you can see, I've started to create just the defensive line with orange because I see his troop count. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I'm still winning by far. But orange has a lot of troops, and I need to be able to defend against his assault because remember they're all assaulting me because they know I'm winning. So this is hard. I'm going to have to defend on multiple fronts. I'm going to have troops dying when I can't catch it because I'm looking at another front. I'm going to have advantageous moves I could have made that I'm going to miss because I'm looking at a different front. All those things are going to happen, and they're going to happen often. And while this is happening, I'm actually even on funds now. So I'm not making a ton of funds. I'm losing funds now. So I should have been a little more careful with this. But I will have units die. It evens out real fast, yeah, because I have a lot of units die. But I've actually taken a purple city that he had down there. And what you'll notice is that I forget purple exists, and he's still hanging in there. 47,000 troops. Remember that number. So, still fighting with red, still fighting with orange. It's very chaotic, very stressful. Like, there's just so much going on. I'm trying to make a counter-assault onto this orange city. He encircles my whole army. I have a lot of troops I send in, though. When purple comes up to assist in the assault, I push back into orange because I was able to resist. Now, remember that macro strategy move I played? I sped up, so it looks like it happened quick, but in the real game, it took 5 minutes for this to materialize. I decided, stop attacking. Start generating troops, replenishing troops, creating defensive lines. Macro strategy. So when I got assaulted by the orange player, I had the funds, the troops, the line to defend it. And funnily enough, I actually lose that city back from purple again because Mr. Purple here is still in it, and I forgot about him. And now he's going to slowly make more troops. He's got 16,000 funds. He can't make much troops because he's even, so he can only support the troops he has. And I continue my assault, trying to get this city back. Once was mine. A city that across from a city I tried to steal from orange 4 different times. We're an hour into this game. It's been back and forth. I'm continually trying to make units and be in the right place at the right time. I do surround this city, and I'm slowly assaulting it. Red is now attacking me here. This is sort of a bad position, though, because of these mountains here that do not allow a unit to cross. And so sort of not great. I attack on this city here because I notice it's a cracked weak unit, and I can kind of push into it. It gets encircled, though. And I'm going to try and continue to defend this city there. I actually sent a lot of units over there. I was probably a bit excessive. But now we have a much better advantage. Look at their troop counts, very depleted. I was able to use my defensive lines to just have the advantage. Slowly but surely use my economy. Remember, economy is the basis for this game. Keep those cities connected up. If your economy is not strong, if you don't use a strong economy correctly, that's how you'll lose games even when you're in a winning position. If I had not used my economy to produce a thick line of healthy units, I would have been in a bad spot. So we're going to continue to assault into red, into purple here. Now I remember purple. Oh, he has a whole thing there. Maybe I should attack that, as I also continue into orange here, trying my best to keep healthy units in and damaged units out. I don't do a very good job just because I'm focused on 3 or 4 separate lines, which is not great. But anyway, we keep the assault going. Units are dying left and right, but we have the money to afford to replace them. These units get encircled, unfortunately, but it's okay because I have plenty more units to come in and support me. I actually forgot to no, I didn't. I forgot to click on this city to produce, so that's a blunder for me. Always click on your cities. I did actually break red down and come and get this city, so that front's done, and red is slowly dying. Purple is being finished off right now. I remembered he has that city there, which is going to really help me out because it's going to allow me to take this city, make more troops, of course. Wouldn't it be cool if when you captured the last city of an opponent, you got all their funds? I think they should add that. Anyway. Now I can use all these troops to assault into orange as I continue to assault into red. Now I just have an insurmountable lead, and I can just send troops in with reckless abandon with no regard for rotating them properly or anything of the sort because I'm just winning. So you guys get the gist. A lot of strategy in this game, many different ways that you can play. If you want to see me learn all these things through the time. Go back to my first War of Dots video on my channel, and I suck. You'll notice that I suck in that video, but there are so many different strategies that you can use in this game. And what I wanted to get with this is I learned a lot of new strategies over the course of the past month of just playing this game, listening to the comments of my videos. I got to play against the #1 player in the world. Check out that video. It's listed on the channel, but the strategy, it will continue to evolve, especially if we get more updates to the game that change things and make things better, rebalance things, new unit types, anything of the sort. We'll continue to shake things up, new maps. There's always strategies for maps. Let me know if you want to cover that in another video. There's a lot of maps. That might be rough. But if you just watch through my War of Dots content, you'll see me play on pretty much every single map in every position. And you'll get the idea of what the best strategy is or what the worst strategy is, because I try it and lose. So check out all my videos. Go back to some of the first ones, and you'll see terrible play, bad strategies, not great, not good. And check out my most recent ones, and you'll see, for example, this game, a well-played, complete performance that ended up in a victory. So thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. Let me know if there's anything that I missed, that I didn't cover, that you would have liked me to cover down in the comment section below. And maybe I'll make another video on it if I get enough content down below. Hopefully this video can improve your game, make you succeed better. And thanks for watching. I will see you on the next live stream or on the next War of Dots video. Peace.